Welcome to our exploration of how climate-driven weather shifts are impacting the delicate lives of backyard birds. In this video, we'll delve into 15 significant ways these avian residents are being affected, from changes in migration patterns and breeding seasons to the challenges posed by declining insect populations and increased competition for resources. Join us as we uncover the intricate connections between climate change and the well-being of our feathered friends, shedding light on the urgent need for awareness and action. 1. Earlier migration patterns. Birds have always been known for their uncanny ability to migrate thousands of miles with precision timing. However, rising temperatures are causing many species to migrate sooner than they used to. This early migration can disrupt their breeding cycles, as they may arrive at their breeding grounds before the environment is ready to support them. For example, if a bird arrives too early, the insects it depends on for food might not be plentiful yet. This mismatch can lead to decreased breeding success, as the birds might not find enough food to sustain themselves and their offspring. 2. Shifts in breeding season. Warmer springs are causing birds to begin nesting earlier each year. While this might seem like a minor shift, it can have profound effects on bird populations. Birds that nest too early may find that their primary food sources, such as insects and seeds, are not yet available in sufficient quantities. This can lead to poor nutrition for both adult birds and their chicks, potentially reducing the number of chicks that survive to adulthood. The delicate balance between nesting times and food availability is crucial for the survival of many bird species. 3. Declining insect population. Insects are a vital food source for many bird species, but climate change is causing insect populations to decline. Warblers, flycatchers, and other insect-eating birds are finding it increasingly difficult to locate enough food to support themselves and their young. As insect numbers dwindle, birds may be forced to travel greater distances in search of food, expending valuable energy and increasing their risk of predation. This decline in insect populations can have a cascading effect on bird populations, potentially leading to reduced numbers of certain species. 4. Loss of native plant species. Extreme weather events, such as prolonged droughts and heavy rains, are altering the native vegetation in many areas. This can result in the loss of natural food sources for birds, such as berries and seeds. Birds that rely on specific plant species for food may struggle to find suitable alternatives, leading to nutritional stress. Additionally, the loss of native plants can impact the availability of nesting sites, further complicating the lives of many bird species. The health of bird populations is closely tied to the health of their habitats, making the preservation of native plant species a priority. 5. Increased heat stress. Hotter summers are becoming more common, putting significant stress on backyard birds. High temperatures can lead to dehydration and heat exhaustion, particularly for birds that are unable to find adequate shade or water. This stress can reduce nesting success, as birds may be forced to abandon their nests in search of cooler areas. In extreme cases, prolonged heat waves can lead to increased mortality rates, especially for young chicks that are more vulnerable to temperature fluctuations. 6. More frequent storms. Climate change is leading to more frequent and intense storms, which can have devastating effects on bird populations. Strong winds and heavy rains can damage nests, injure birds, and force them to abandon their nesting sites. These storms can also disrupt migration patterns, causing birds to become disoriented and potentially leading them to less suitable habitats. The increased frequency of storms poses a significant threat to the survival of many bird species. 7. Changing food availability. The unpredictable weather patterns are affecting the growth cycles of fruits, seeds, and nuts, which are important food sources for many birds. If these food sources are not available when birds need them, it can lead to nutritional stress and reduced breeding success. Birds may be forced to travel longer distances in search of food, increasing their risk of predation and reducing their overall fitness. The availability of food is a critical factor in the survival and reproduction of bird populations. 8. Invasive species expansion. warmer temperatures are allowing invasive species, such as certain insects and mammals, to expand their range. These invaders can prey on birds and their eggs, reducing the populations of native bird species. Invasive species can also compete with birds for food and nesting sites, further exacerbating the challenges faced by bird populations. The spread of invasive species is a growing concern for the conservation of native bird species. 9. Water source shortages. Droughts and changing precipitation patterns are reducing the availability of fresh water for birds to drink and bathe in. This can increase stress levels for birds, as they must expend more energy searching for water. Dehydration can lead to reduced breeding success and increased mortality rates, particularly during hot summer months. Ensuring that birds have access to fresh water is essential for their survival and well-being. 10. Altered birdsong patterns. Birds rely on their calls and songs for communication, but climate change and increased urban noise are causing some birds to alter their vocalizations. These changes can affect their ability to attract mates, defend territories, and communicate with other birds. As birds adapt to new environmental conditions, their songs may change in pitch, volume, or frequency, potentially impacting their reproductive success. 11. Declining nesting sites. Habitat loss due to extreme weather and changing landscapes is forcing birds to find new, often less ideal, nesting sites. This can lead to increased competition for limited resources, as birds are forced to compete with other species for food and nesting areas. The loss of suitable nesting sites can have a significant impact on bird populations, as it may reduce the number of chicks that survive to adulthood. 12. Increased competition for resources. As bird populations shift in response to climate change, some species are experiencing increased competition for limited resources. This competition can lead to reduced breeding success and increased mortality rates, particularly for smaller or less aggressive species. The availability of food and nesting sites is a critical factor in the survival of bird populations, making it essential to address the challenges posed by climate change. 13. Greater disease spread. Warmer temperatures and altered rainfall patterns are creating conditions that can spread avian diseases, such as West Nile virus. These diseases can have devastating effects on bird populations, leading to increased mortality rates and reduced breeding success. The spread of disease is a growing concern for the conservation of bird species, as it can have long-lasting impacts on their populations. 14. Disrupted pollination roles. Many birds play a crucial role in pollination, but changes in climate are affecting their feeding habits, which can reduce plant reproduction. As birds adapt to new environmental conditions, they may change their feeding patterns, potentially impacting the plants they pollinate. This disruption can have cascading effects on ecosystems, as plants rely on pollinators for reproduction and the production of seeds and fruits. 15. More frequent human interaction. As birds lose their natural habitats, they are increasingly seeking food and shelter closer to human homes. This can lead to increased dependence on backyard feeders and birdhouses, as well as more frequent interactions with humans. While this can provide opportunities for birdwatching and conservation efforts, it also poses challenges, as birds may become reliant on artificial food sources and lose their ability to forage naturally. The increased interaction with humans highlights the importance of creating bird-friendly environments in our backyards and communities.